people said, oh my God, how dare a man do this? How can you have a woman you're involved with who's a fellow athlete, who's a gorgeous woman? What the heck were you thinking? But what really happened?
Those allegations are not true.
Rockets guard Kevin Porter Jr. was arrested and charged with assault and strangulation after allegedly assaulting his girlfriend at a New York hotel on Monday morning. That's according to a New York City police spokesperson.
Information that was conveyed earlier at the arraignment that no one had any consent or anything in writing from her, and she's just kind of processing all of this, and you're still releasing information that she has not given a document, no statement or anything, but you're just attaching all of this for a storyline?
Well, first of all, I completely hear you. This must be so overwhelming to see in the press what we're saying, and you're not getting as much information from us as we would like you to get. So I'm so sorry about how this.
Oh no, this isn't about us getting information about what you all have and you all releasing information to us. It's about information that you're releasing that Kaiser has not given a voice to. She has not given you a statement. She has not given you any consent to release any of her records, any of her information with her physical status or any injuries that you sat there and said, oh, I'm sorry for, because in order to what? To make you all's case?
Welcome to the Dark Times channel. And before I go ahead and get started, make sure you guys go and hit that like button for me. And if you're not new to the channel and you enjoy the content so far on this channel, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me as well. And so let's go ahead and get into it. As most of you may already know, a couple of weeks back, a few weeks before the NBA season kicked off, I posted a video in regards to Kevin Porter Jr. and some of the allegations surrounding him at the time. And if y'all remember in that video, I told everybody, let's wait and see. Let's see what happens, because we don't know all the details and we weren't there. At the end of the day, we weren't there. So let's let it play out in court. That's what I said. And people had an issue with that. People had a problem with that. Similar to the whole Keke Palmer situation with Darius. A lot of people had a problem with that. I said, let's see how it plays out. And so I feel like we've gotten to a point now where it's unpopular to believe that a man could be innocent, or at the very least, innocent until proven guilty. But I want to give a shout out to Kevin Porter Jr.'s girlfriend for doing this interview, because she could have did what so many other women in her position would have done. And that's go along with the story that the district attorney and the police made up. And who knows? If there was an actual situation where there was a serious argument and maybe Kevin Porter Jr. stepped out on her or cheated on her or whatever the case may be, who knows? Maybe she would have went along with the flow. But be that as it may, she spoke up and she spoke out on his behalf. And so she deserves a little bit of credit, because I'm sure the book deals and the interview money was lining up. And the fact that she had to go on a YouTube platform, the fact that she had to go on Roland Martin to get this story out says it all. Because let those allegations have been true, she would have been on CNN, ESPN, ABC. She would have been on all those networks. She would have been talking to Gayle King right now. She would have been crying her heart out, pouring her soul out on Gayle King right now. But she's not. She's on Roland Martin, unfiltered, on a YouTube channel. Because she's saying what everybody doesn't want to hear. Nobody wants to hear this. Nobody wants to hear that a black man is innocent. They want to hear that a black man did all of these vicious and vile things to this woman. That's what they want to hear. And I remember when the reports first came out, they were talking about she had a broken neck and all kind of lacerations and this and that. And she looks perfectly fine to me. And if they did have all that evidence, they would have already released pictures, because that's the first thing they do. That's the very first thing they do, is take pictures and release it to the public. It's basically legal jury tampering, and they do it all the time. And so no, I don't believe all women. And I don't believe all men for that matter, especially in this day and age, in the times that we're living in. And this is a perfect case. This is a perfect example, because we're talking about a young man in Kevin Porter Jr. who's only 23 years old, not even in the prime of his career yet. And he had it snatched away just like that. And he had his problems. He was somewhat of a hothead. He had some anger issues, but nothing along the lines of this. And I want to go ahead and play a little bit of the interview that Roland Martin did with Kevin Porter Jr.'s girlfriend, because if this is true, and I believe it's true because she has no reason to lie, and then she has audio to support up everything that she's saying, and so I think she's telling the truth 100%. And this is insidious what the city of New York and the district attorney tried to do. But I believe it because they do it every day, all day, especially when it comes to the so-called black man, simply because they can. They can get away with it. Go ahead and take a listen.
We were in New York, attending New York Fashion Week. Just earlier that night, we had just finished attending a fashion show. I had some meetings early the next morning to attend to, so I decided to call it an early night. He stayed out with his friends, his teammates, and obviously came back at a later time. Me being asleep, I was unaware of the fact that he was locked out of the room. Security, to my understanding, helped let him in. And I was awakened to, just yelling and him being very adamant about wanting to have a conversation with me that even still to this day, I don't even know what that was, about. I was, very hazy, being awakened from sleeping, and I could smell, a hue of alcohol. Clearly it wasn't the right space nor the right time frame to even have a conversation. And as, he grabbed me by my shoulders to try to wake me up to have that, I stand up, very quickly on the bed, and I fall off the side of the bed and hit the side of my eye on the wall. And that's where the laceration above my eye came from. There was a makeup splat and a little blood splat on the wall to justify and support that injury. I don't know if you've ever tried to stand up on a bed. There's actually no support. There is so much imbalance that I fell. And in hindsight of that, I noticed blood. And to be completely honest, I was in shock. I kind of I kind of panicked and I ran out the room. And when I ran out the room, the security officer that had let him in was still standing at the elevator. So it just goes to show you how fast and such a blur the whole incident, happened, that the guy that let him in was still standing outside waiting to go down. And to my understanding, that's when they escorted me down and I heard that he was arrested. No, he never balled his fist up and hit me in the face numerous times, nor did he ever strangle me to the point where there was lacerations around my neck or where he fractured my spine and my neck. Those allegations are not true.
Okay, and you did supply us, you had a conversation with the district attorney's office. Folks, cue that up, where, as you said, they told you that they apologized for these details being made public. Guys, go ahead and play that.
Information that was conveyed earlier at the arraignment, that no one had any consent or anything in writing from her, as she's just kind of processing all of this, and you're still releasing information that she has not given a document, no statement or anything, but you're just attaching all of this for a storyline?
Well, first of all, I completely hear you. This must be so overwhelming to see in the press what we're saying, and you're not getting as much information from us as we would like you to get. So I'm so sorry about how this this isn't about us getting information about what you all have and you all releasing information to us. It's about information that you're releasing that Kaiser has not given a voice to. She has not given you a statement. She has not given you any consent to release any of her records, any of her information with her physical status or any injuries that you sat there and said, oh, I'm sorry for, because in order to what? To make you all's case for today, for court, for the arraignment, that you made those statements.
And she didn't give you permission to do that. And so it's still coming out. So just 5 minutes ago, there's more coming out that your voice is attached to?
Let me first of all say, we have not released any statements to the press. What's being quoted is what I said in court this morning. We are not speaking or releasing anything. And
like I said to you earlier, when you said what you said, the quotes that came from the arraignment this morning, you said you made those statements in order to give the enforcement to the charges that you all were filing against Mr. Porter. She did not give you that. She did not give you that information. She did not tell you that information. It is a FERPA violation for you to turn around and release her medical information.
I'm happy to explain. So, first of all, the statements that are being attributed to her in the press, that is coming from police reports and police documents. The statement that I made and that is in the criminal court documents about her injuries, that is something that the police officer heard.
Whether he heard it or not, to misrepresent that is still her confidential information. But you turn around and reiterated, you repeated it and said it in the arraignment for the courts, as if like it's something that you all were given consent to release. And that was inappropriate, and that was a violation of her own personal rights, for her medical history, for the sake of your case.
Yes, so...
But you couldn't wait until she would sit down to have a conversation with you all.
We could not legally wait. We are required to file the complaints within a certain number of hours. That is why I very much wanted to speak with you.
Right, and so just because you weren't able to speak with her, who gave you authorization to what? To file the complaint, on behalf of whom?
We are legally required to file a complaint within a certain amount of hours.
On behalf of whom?
This is why...
On behalf of whom? And I'm asking you a question, on behalf of whom?
On behalf of the people of the state of New York. This is the job that we do.
Okay, on behalf of the people of the state of New York.
And so this is sad, not just for Kevin Porter Jr., but also for his girlfriend. I'm not sure just how serious they were, but from what I gather, they were kind of serious. And so I'm sure they had future plans together. And a lot of that was based on Kevin Porter Jr.'s NBA career. You're talking about a borderline NBA All-Star, worst case scenario. That was Kevin Porter Jr.'s floor. Worst case scenario, he was going to be a borderline NBA All-Star each year. And with the kind of money that the NBA is throwing around these days, that's at least $300 million over the next 10 years. And that's putting it lightly. That's being conservative. And he'll never get that back. I don't care if he's cleared on all charges and they come out and say that, yeah, it's indeed true, he's innocent. It doesn't matter. The NBA is not in the business of putting somebody front and center and making somebody the face of a franchise who's went through these kind of allegations. Innocent or guilty, it doesn't matter. And so we're not even going to get an apology from anybody. There's going to be no apology from ESPN, no apology from Malika Andrews. All they're going to do is just turn their attention to the next set of allegations. That's it. Life goes on. And so at the very least, if I'm Kevin Porter Jr. and I'm Kevin Porter Jr.'s legal representation, I'm taking action against the city of New York for any damages and future wages that Kevin Porter Jr. may have lost. That's probably the best case scenario at this point in time. That's probably the best thing that he could hope for, unfortunately. But we'll see. We're going to see how it all plays out. But let me know what y'all think below. Let me know how y'all feel in the comments. And be sure to hit that like button on your way out. And as usual, peace and chaos.